Hello beautiful family, this is Paloma. I come back with the story the sky is telling for the next few days. And apologies in order because I disappeared for the last month or so. So between some health issues and then holidays that I really needed some rest, time went by. I hope you have peace in your hearts, and thank you for your patience, and thank you for commenting and writing and supporting this channel. I do have my other channels in Spanish, which I know they're in Spanish, but you can always go to them if you want to have a little more of my content, because I'm a bit more constant there because I have more help for that. But I will keep growing here, and also again thank you for your support. So where are we? We've just opened a new month, really. This is the 5th of July when I'm doing this. And I do want to say the sensation, the very peculiar sensation that I have about this month. I was trying to explain this last week as the image I had is like when a plane, like when you're taking off in a plane, especially if you're in a very big city that has this layer of, sometimes it's like just white clouds, but sometimes it's very thick pollution. And once the plane takes off, like you go through this layer, and then there it is now, the clear blue infinite sky. So I have a sensation that through the intent, our wheel of vision, of clear vision, aiming to the truth, with the sword of discernment, we might have to go through a layer of some confusion, nebulosity, or literal pollution, frequency pollution, okay? This I say because we have these two different movements going on at the same time. It's also like a biotensegrity thing, because there's a movement that is going inwards and one that is going outwards really fast. Let me explain myself. Neptune has just started its retrograde movement on the 4th of July. This is the first time we experience this quality of energy with him. Saturn will start its retrograde movement by the 13th, and then we're also going to have Mercury retrograde by the 18th. He's already in shadow territory anyway. So these are all retrograde energy in the fire element, which requires some management, because we usually get kind of frustrated because we can't move as fast as we want. This is Aries and Leo energy, and the energy of retrograde motion is usually an invitation to reflect, to, I don't know if this word exists in English as such, like recapitulate, which is like to retrieve your energy, and so you can perhaps change your perspective and have an integration and understanding of what has gone by. So I think part of the energy of the month is really a revision of our initiatives, our battles, our expectations as well, and so we can start truly understanding this new path that is sort of unfolding, but it's not entirely clear, this vision that we are trying to pull into the tangible realm of reality, but we don't have all the clarity of it yet, because we are still lacking some process, because it's gradual, it's circular, and we are still, I think, layer by layer surrendering more and more of what we thought would be, so we can make space for what can be and is already gestating within us. And here I want to pause and remind us all that 2025 has this like ebb and flow. Like we started the year with this energy of retrograde, now we're in this energy that is like showing us part of the future, and then it's also gonna like pull back again at the end of the year, so that if we navigate the energy as I'm telling you, we won't get so frustrated that we won't see the absolute consolidation of what we are envisioning on 2025. It's more towards 2026. Okay, having said that, we are somehow setting the foundations for this, especially throughout this new season. This month we could I think there's a nice like clue if we actually in this reflection think and feel what has already lit up our courage in 2025, because there we have important information. Something has called upon our inner fire to get lit up, and this is valuable for us to move forward. Okay, if we only had these retrograde energies and then this very grounding sort of reality checkpoint of the full moon in Capricorn by the 10th, it seems ideal to integrate what 2025 has been already, which is a lot. But we also have this other energy that is completely opposite in its direction. It's forward, it's accelerated, high speed, and of course I'm talking about Urano entering Gemini on the 7th of the 7th month. I made a mistake because I said the year 7. It's actually a 9th year in numerology, right? But I'm in a 7th year, so for me it was like, oh my god, it's 777. So this is the planet of revolution, change. This is the lightning bolt that disrupts and electrifies, and this is a planet of freedom. This is entering the school of mind, the school of thought, the school of perception, the school of communication and exchange. So as I said, this creates some sort of a confusing climate because we are at the same time accelerating and hitting the brakes, you see. So to me, the image is like trying to meditate in the middle of a very heavy rock concert or something like that. Probably that's gonna be the actual challenge and invitation of July, right? Because my sensation with the arrival of Urano to Gemini is very noisy, it's very loud, it's like hyper stimulating, a lots of ideas, opinions, options, exchanges, and we need to take care of our energy and also bring some order into this, we call it our mind vehicle, through our will. Because imagine like Urano is gonna start grabbing momentum towards the month, as the month ahead, but by the mid of this month, well, he's like very happy opening up his revolution, the revolution of consciousness, of thought. He's gonna be ruled by a retrograde Mercury. So I think we need to take it easy. We need to choose calmness, discernment, temperance, as part of the way in which we can navigate this from a place of just serenity, you know, because I do feel many different layers of energy, of frequency, especially with Urano here. And I think there is already, but I think this really gets amplified, a lot of interference, frequency interference. There's going to be a lot of new frequencies, both natural and artificial, and this feels noisy to all of our systems, because naturally the great potential of the great awakener, which is Urano, is that we awaken to the truth of the power, the creative power of our minds, of our thoughts. He rules on the pineal gland. This is an activation of the clarivision, no? Of the claris, of this clear vision, of this clear knowing. It's going to give us access to a lot of galactic information, opening up new alternative ways of communication. And this is a transit of extreme innovation, diversity, new languages, movement. There's a lot of restlessness in the energy of Gemini and a lot of curiosity. I would say for now, curiosity is one of the most beautiful paths we can choose towards whatever starts to unravel, you know, because it keeps us open. And as I said at the beginning, having this sort of discernment also well grabbed will be to cut through this interference will be important, so we can actually access the higher octaves of this energy, of this transit. No, this is of course about technology, and I do want to state that our minds, our brains are actually poorly explored high technologies, and obviously there will be what we already see, but a lot more, I would say, all of the like the wave of the technologies and artificial intelligence that is there, and we haven't seen anything yet, I think. He's gonna enter Urano and activate a trine to Pluto in Aquarius. This is massive, no? This is truly the revolution of consciousness. It implies, though, Pluto, a very strong process of crisis, of death and rebirth, of transformation. So we can expect a lot of these technologies for eternal life, eternal youth. That's very Gemini as well. The energy of staying forever young, and all of this debate in terms of the artificial intelligence will just go in crescendo. I would insist there's going to be a lot of noise. I don't speak a lot of other characters here because I don't know, it would just take me I would have very long videos. But I do want to mention that when Urano enters Gemini, he's going to conjunct this other character, which is super interesting. If you get curious about her, do look her up. Her name is Sedna, because her orbit is about 11,000 years. And now she's in the space of our solar system, and she's an Inuit goddess that also speaks more than transformation, I would say metamorphosis with Sedna, and she's also implied in this very interesting configuration of the transpersonal planet. So I think this is really massive transfiguration, metamorphosis within our bodies. Okay. There's also the possibility of awakening this gem, this precious stone within us, and that's why I think it's going to get noisy. It's a lot about neuroplasticity, about new neural paths in ourselves. It's also a overload and resetting of our nervous system. So we really do need to take care of ourselves, because it's a lot of electricity in our bodies. And it's also a widening of our perception. It's quite shamanic in that sense, because we can change. There is a way in which we say it in shamanism, that you change punto de encaje, like just the perspective, which changes the perception, and this changes everything, obviously, no? So the development of our psychic abilities, it's also gonna rapidly expand towards this greater connection to our cosmic and our earth origins. I do want to say the shift of power from the few to the many to the people is happening. It's gonna take time though, because this is Pluto in Aquarius, and it requires a constant recalibration of our, I would say precisely that, like we really need to attune in a very fine, sophisticated way with the proper frequencies, so we can continuously recalibrate, because that's the energy. It's just changing and changing and changing, and we need to be like flexible and truly attuned to the frequencies that resonate with our hearts. Of course, there is a new way of experiencing spirituality, where the idea is that each one of us can assume inner authority and become our own spiritual guides, because we are learning sovereignty. So it is, I mean, this will obviously change the paradigm completely, no? And we are the ones opening up this new stage for humanity. So how does this look? How do you translate this into your life? Okay, Urano in Geminis is also a promise of radical change in the next 7 or 8 years. Just think about the Tauro area of your map, of your life, from 2018 until now. I can assure you, it's not the same. It has changed radically. So in the personal level, I would suggest that you identify the Gemini area, because this is the place that's gonna starts getting shaken by Urano right now. In the collective kind of point of view, I would say, even though it's unpredictable, because Urano is about surprises, which we can sort of intuit, no, already, that, well, the world that we're living in won't be the same in 7 years after going through all of this process, no? There is a very strong invitation to question our belief systems, ideologies, and there's this thing with duality in Geminis, no? So we will see a lot of like duplicity and duality, which in truth, like the deep teaching of Gemini is about integration, but for a moment it might get quite polarized, so we can learn the path of integration. Also, it's integrating our, let's say, our small mind with the higher mind, because Urano is the higher octave of Mercury, right? So it's like connecting with the mind of God, but we need to get past the noise so we can actually download all of this information. I think there's a revolution in the way in which we think, we communicate, we relate towards a new comprehension of what consciousness is, the exploration of the space, but also of the inner cosmos, I would insist. And this will be, I think it will trigger all of these activations within our DNA and our bodies. A lot of parts that were sort of dormant will become awakened within ourselves. The challenge of this is the integration, really, and the reconciliation of dichotomies and contrasts within ourselves. We need to become bigger so we can be and have enough space for all of this diversity, because at the end it is through diversity that life thrives. If there is any plan of disclosure or unclassification of the world of extraterrestrial life and contact, that's with Urano in Gemini. So we'll see how that plays out, but that would be there. And Urano with Neptune, they rule on the shamanic higher realm, which is a realm of the supra-consciousness. Hope that's the word. It connects us with the dream world and with the higher visions. And this realm is really like, it has nothing to do with the middle realm. Like there's a complete dissolving of what we call reality time and the illusory tangibility of everything. So we might experience some very strong dissonance also, like while we calibrate this frequency, and some like cognitive dissonances as well. Let us please take care of ourselves, of each other, of our environments, and have a lot of hygiene in terms of the information that feeds us and the information that we feed and what we are feeding with our energy and attention. I mean, it's not a coincidence that we call it the feed, right? So just saying. I would say old-fashioned style, old-fashioned recommendation. It's funny that it's now old-fashioned recommendation, but the path to navigate this in beauty is through meditation and breath work, because Gemini is air, okay? And like I would say, be ready to activate your noise cancelling activated so you can enter the silent space. We're gonna need, as you can see in July, a balance between this space of reflection and the velocity of our thinking patterns. And for this we need earth element, which is our body. And thank God Mars is in Virgo, so we can have a sustainable rhythm in which to navigate this energy. Actually, Mars is coming very close to the South Node in Virgo, so there is this depuration of our impulse, our will, are calling us into integrity, into impeccability, into a purity of action and a purity of thought and order. It looks like there's something unpredictable in July, but it's kind of there, no? I'm sure you're already feeling this anticipation of something we don't know what. In terms of the world agenda, well, we can maybe know where this is heading. I would say let's claim agency of this energy for ourselves, and let's start playing with this energy. There is something playful, ludico, in the energy of Gemini that gives us or allows us to connect again with awe, with our capacity to ask, as I said, curiosity, and it's extremely creative energy to find creative solutions. So, okay, a few comments on Urano and Geminis. I actually already have something else ready for you guys, but I'm gonna leave you with this, and in a couple of days I'll come back with the full moon in Capricorn video. This is just the trailer of the movie, right? Because Urano is entering Gemini and he's gonna go back into Tauro by the 2nd of November 2025, and then by the 25th of April 2026 he will stay there until 2033. So we're like having the trailer of this energy. We will have time to elaborate and talk, Gemini, a lot about this journey. For now, let us just like have the capacity to create some space to observe, to maintain a temperance, and to just be aware, adaptable, no? Right. I think this is about last week, really. Yeah, Venus entering Gemini. Let me see if I have something else for this. Okay, quickly, words that we can associate to Urano: freedom of expression, freedom of our minds, activation of the higher mind, healing of the pineal gland, the claris, and the psychic abilities, new frequencies, artificial and natural, noise and silence, education, learning, teaching, communication, commerce, internet, exchanges, relationships, diversity, natural and artificial intelligence technologies, creative solutions, unexpected solutions, disruption, proliferation, can I say that, of new platforms of communication, for example, telepathy, a lot of social restlessness and consciousnness. Those are things we can associate to begin with Urano. And I would add that for me, there is like the idea of language as a door that allows us to expand our comprehension of the cosmos. That's also important. Even rescuing mother tongues, so we can access the ancestral cosmovision that can actually help us understand the future and create it. This duality of artificial and natural technology, I do have a comment on this. Even though artificial intelligence can simulate emotions and create the illusion of intimacy because it is designed for us to trust it, the lived experience of touching a tree, of feeling the rain in your body, of feeling the caress of another human, artificial intelligence cannot know this, no? So there are certain things like compassion, connection, empathy, emotion that cannot be sustituibles. They're you know what I mean, right? This cannot be done by in this intelligence. Let's be aware of the extreme polarization and have the maturity to question ideologies and to look behind these ideologies into what is the motive and the authenticity of it. Again, discernment. And yeah, I think I'm gonna leave you with that for now, and I'll speak to the full moon in Capricorn of the 10th in a couple days. Yeah, I hope this has service for you, and it's great to be back. Thank you. Blessings.